Listen, did you see Sinners?
Not yet, but I really do want to go.
Oh my God! You
Tell me.
Sinners,
Oh yeah,
man.
you told me you saw it IMAX, right?
I did. You saw Sinners, Alice?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Amazing. Like, fantastic. I say 10 out of 10.
Oh, I gave it. Nah, it's definitely a 10 out of 10.
Can y'all explain to me why?
Why? What?
Why do y'all think it's a 10 out of 10?
Because it's a great movie. Oh, you saw it too. You didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just felt like I would change some stuff with the script.
Tell me what you would have changed from the script, real quick. Without giving the movie away. What would you would have changed?
Well, it did. Why are you guys laughing?
I know what you don't like.
You know what I like.
What about the strong?
The acting was I thought
The black
acting
female
was-
lead was phenomenal.
Yes. What's her name?
The black Haley Steinfeld, the black female lead was absolutely incredible.
No.
You got to give it up to her.
Okay, but I think
I guarantee that's the thing she don't like about
no.
But the
I
black
think-
female
that's
lead,
not it at all.
you're not going to give it up to the black female
How do
lead?
I pronounce her name? Wonmi
I don't know how to say
Mosaku?
her name.
No,
She
the
was
black
phenomenal.
female lead.
No.
The acting was all great,
Fantastic.
but I would just say how they introduced the action part. I would just want that hinted more in the intro. I thought it was a slow.
They did.
Not necessarily. No, they didn't. If you think about how
When
they
you say the action part, you mean like the vampire shit?
yeah, like I thought that was how they put it in. I thought
That was like Act 2 of the movie, though.
Yeah,
They introduced it really well in Act 2 of the movie.
I thought they should have been just a little bit earlier on.
I thought you didn't like the fact that Michael B. Jordan lived happily ever after with a white girl.
I don't care about that.
That girl's black.
Who?
That girl's black.
I didn't know she was engaged to Josh Allen.
Of course, dude.
That's crazy.
They're trying to spread rumors.
You know she is black.
She really is black?
Yeah.
She's a quarter black.
God.
No, she's an eighth black.
Eighth black.
But
eighth Filipino.
what's interesting about it is, and this was, I think,
Forgot about that.
I'm just saying she's black.
No, but this is interesting because at the time, I saw like a thing on it. At the time, if you were an eighth black, you were considered black. It actually is it's an interesting look into like culture at the time, whereas like it was the one drop rule. If you had even a little black, so she's playing a white passing character who is considered black by the white community. So that was the role. Now, was the role written around the way that she already looks, or did they find someone who could fit that role? But I thought it was really interesting. I didn't watch the movie, but it didn't feel like stunt casting. It felt like an authentic moment where there were people who were mixed at the time, but they weren't accepted into white spaces.
But she was, though. That's what, hold on, let me think.
She grew up with him.
No, they was hiding the fact. Sorry,
Go-
they were hiding the fact that she had any black ancestry.
They showed that in the movie?
No, he said it out loud because they said she would have got kicked out of her community. Remember, she
I thought she would have got kicked out of her community because they was fucking each other.
No.
She was fucking a black guy in the 1930s.
If they found out if she was black, she would have got kicked out of her community.
Remember, any piece black, you're black.
Yeah.
But her mom was white, and her mom took in the twins when she was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, white people are great. We
They
do
never
great
said her dad
things.
was black?
Historically speaking, we do great
Grandparents
stuff.
or something. One grandparent.
good.
had
I must have missed that part of the movie. When they explained that shit, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, isn't
part.
that funny?
I really didn't catch
We
that
call that
part.
white erasure.
Okay.
I also
You know what
felt
Kanye
like,
calls white erasure? When he puts a white cock in his mouth. Can't even see it no more. It's gone. If it's 4 inches or less, he make it disappear. Okay?
You think he looks at that dick and he goes, "No one man should have all that
These guys are crazy.
well, I also felt like
man.
We gotta go to a Kanye concert now. We gotta go to a Kanye concert now because every lyric got a different meaning.
God. Oh my
I
God.
was gonna say, I also feel like I wouldn't have used vampires for it. I would have used like just a different type of monster.
You would have just changed.
Why? Vampire was fantastic.
I'm just saying, like
Maybe vampires
from
were a
what-
metaphor for something.
Okay, so maybe that, but I just didn't see that metaphor with it necessarily.
What? That was perfect. First of all, if you don't use vampires,
That he could have made another monster though. I'm just saying how.
it was the nightfall, like night played a part in it. What the vampires were offering them, because that's what the vampire was offering them everlasting life. You just literally got to give up your soul for it. Because what he really wanted was that kid that could fucking play the instrument.
But that's I guess how I was looking at it too. Like vampires are attracted to music now.
No, it's.
That's how they
Why
made
didn't
it.
charge it?
Again, I haven't seen the movie, but I imagine it's some play off of the blues being adopted by white culture, and there's a almost
Nah, the white people in the movie weren't even playing the blues. They were playing their shit. They were playing
bluegrass
that sound called.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
No, but it's still the idea that there are these people that can come and they can take your culture, and then you can have everlasting success within it, but you no longer own it. That's what I assume the metaphor is. Is it something like that?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think he's using the vampire as a device, not just like, ooh, I need a boogeyman, but like, what does a vampire represent? Like, once a vampire bites you, you're theirs forever. And you can exist in perpetuity with that, but you lose your soul, right?
That's right.
You lose what makes it special for you. It exists and proliferates forever, but at what cost? The cost is this authenticity.
That's why vampires was the perfect monster. There's no other monster that they could have been.
Critique. I would give it an 8 though.
No, I first of all, it's okay to like. Obviously, everybody can have their opinion about shit. I just think it's really cool that there's a. And again, I'm really interested in seeing the movie, but I think it's really cool that there's somebody who's like a real film nerd. Like you can tell he really loves film, but he's applying it to big box office movies.
Man.
I think a lot of times you have.
They're gonna do a prequel too.
The fact that they did this movie and it's original IP, it's an original story that had a $90 million budget that has made what 70.
It had a $40 million budget, but then
90.
Well, $40 million is what it cost to make the movie, and I think you put another 40 in advertising.
90 in the rest in advertising.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow,
the production budget was 90.
Wow.
Yeah, the production budget was 90. So I think I would say probably another 30.
No, usually it's
marketing.
double. It's they usually double whatever the production.
It was 180. Yeah.
So you go if it costs 90 to make it, you spend 90 in production. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is like there's a lot of people that are like film nerds, right? And music nerds and all these different types of nerds. And then they create shit and they do this like little indie stuff. And the process is essentially if you don't understand it, you don't get it, you're not smart enough. I think it's very brave to be that film nerd or film aficionado and apply that acumen to a blockbuster. And the risk that you take to do that, to me, that's way hard. That's a way harder endeavor. So I give a lot of credit to people who will take that skill and take that talent and apply it to these big blockbuster things because the risk of failure is much higher. If your little indie film flops, you get to say, oh, you all are too stupid to enjoy it. But if you make Creed, if you make Sinners, if you make these things, you're making them for global consumption. It's a harder thing to do, and to take your art and apply it to that is like really fucking cool.
And what's so beautiful about Sinners, yes, there's a lot of deeper meanings to the movie, but the reality is it don't even got to be that deep if you don't want it to be.
So it's
just enjoyable.
This is the thing about like it, and this is to me, in my opinion, like highest version of art, right? Is you can make it consumable for the masses that don't know the metaphors, and it's still enjoyable, and you can make it consumable for the indie like art critic who goes, oh, all these metaphors really make me feel like I'm smart and intelligent and I understand it. And like what will happen, I imagine, with Coogler is when you start making films like this, people start applying their reasoning to it. Like with I remember with Black Panther, right? This idea, and who knows if this was his idea, if it already existed, but like remember the suit, it absorbs whatever punishment and then use that as power.
Give it back, project it back, yeah.
And then like again, maybe this is his idea, but maybe it was maybe it was other people applying it to it, but they're like, whoa, is that kind of similar to the Black experience? It's like we take all this pain and struggle and then we put that out there in the world and it is like a superpower. If that's his idea, awesome. If it's the audience going, this guy's really smart and everything he does is intentional and we're going to put meaning on it, that's awesome too. That's high level art. And applying high level art to blockbuster shit is hard, and he deserves a lot of credit for that.
I'm so impressed by this because, you know, if you read this Variety article, right? In this Variety article, it talks about how one of the ventures that I've started is Southland Stories, and she says Charlamagne has set up a film production venture with veteran producer
Basil.
The focus will be on stories rooted in the culture of the South. I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, all the original IP, all of the original titles, the new stories that Hollywood is looking for exist in the South. I really, truly believe that. And not only do they exist in the South, they exist in folklore of the South.
That's cool.
The folklore of the South. There's so much folklore in the movie Sinners. I'm gonna shut up, but there's a project that one of the projects that me and Basil are rolling out, one of the original projects that we're rolling out. I'm a call back to Sinners and tell y'all, see, that's how rooted some of this stuff is in the South and how much of this supernatural folklore. If you read any of my books, Black Privilege, Shook One, Get Honest, Die Lying, I'm always talking about the supernatural folklore that
Yeah.
exists down South. Those
Like,
are where the original stories are.
all folklore is representative of real things.
Yes.
And it's just put into digestible stories that are meant to scare us or inspire us. But these things all represent like real human experiences. The best stories throughout time represent real human experiences. Like
Absolutely.
Noah's Ark, like you might be like a literalist and believe he built the ark, or you might look at that story, interpret it in terms of faith and like what faith can
Absolutely.
do. And like, I think that's awesome. And if that hasn't been explored, what you're saying, Charlotte, that makes me very interested. I've heard a lot of mafia stories. Not saying we
Seen
should
them
stop
all.
making them, but like I've heard a lot of them. Like, where else do these things exist?
I don't mind, so I'm glad you brought that up. Mafia stories are great, but you know what's great about true crime stories? Anytime we see true crime from another world. We've seen a million of the mafia stories, but when you see like The Wire, or when you see, Power, like my guy Sean Penn, he wrote a story, Poison, about the Shower Posse. Is it the Shower Posse? Yeah, the Shower Posse. No, a Poison Clan. I'm sorry, the Poison Clan in Brooklyn. Like, these are real things that happen. So when you hear these stories, you like, oh shit. Like when you actually read about them and then watch them play out on the big screen, we haven't seen that.
And some of them become myths, and that's what makes them even more interesting.
You can't even believe that it really happened. You're like, this shit really happened?
Yeah.
Like this, like really?
And
Yes.
I think that'd be really cool if and I'm sure the South has millions of them.
Man.
So let's explore them. I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool.
I can't wait. And Ryan Coogler did a unprecedented deal. He got a deal to where in 25 years, he gets back the ownership rights to Sinners, but also he has a deal called the first gross rights deal.
Mm-hmm.
So before the movie is even profitable, he starts getting money back even before the studio.
His payment.
That's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Ryan. He deserves it, man. You talk about, you said it right. He's a film nerd. Like, if you talk to Ryan Coogler about film.
That's who I want. Film nerds making my films. I want music nerds making my music.
That's right.
I want tech nerds making my tech. I want the people who love the game. Like, they're obsessed with the game, making shit.
That's right.
And because they put out the best product and we like it the best. I think what happens is, certain genres of entertainment become really popular, and then you get people who are not necessarily the nerds, they're more like the executives, and they're just trying to make these carbon copies of stuff, and then we start to feel it. We start to go, this is just trying to be a different version of that, and we can see through it. And when you have the real artists making shit, you get real art, and the people like it, and they go to the fucking movie theater, which is a hard thing to get people to do. So yeah, I think this is great.
We got to take risk. That's all. Hollywood got to be willing to take the risk.
Take the risks on the artists, yo, because it's gonna pay off.
And we don't. Some of us don't even need Hollywood. We're gonna fund our own films, and then y'all gonna see what we did, and then y'all gonna want to be in business with us.